Okay, so I'm gonna basically record myself studying because show don't tell. So let's go study sales to have it as proof for me and also for a recruiter or someone else. Let's take advantage of technology, I guess, and document everything. Let's go. Let's have fun.
Okay, cool. So that's sort of partially right. So it spoke to them. However, it's very difficult to convey successful outcomes in marketing in that way.
Okay.
Right? Like if you're selling a product, okay, which is why I asked this question. If you're selling a product, then the solution the product provides spoke to them.
Okay.
But we're selling a service in
Yeah.
this instance, and the service is going to be sold by somebody else. And it will have an outcome basis. However, you're actually speaking to the problem.
Okay.
Okay. So if we take it back, you've got essentially 5 levels of awareness. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The reason why this stuff is important to know is because it tells you like where the prospect is, right? And then it lets you have an understanding of like how far down the buying journey they are, so that you can figure out like, all right, this is why the person's here. Because if you know why someone's there, like if you work at a shoe store, you know they're there to buy shoes, right?
Yeah.
But imagine if you have everything, you have to go, what do you need?
Yeah.
Right? So you've got to then start further back. But it's like if I go to a Nike shoe store, I want Nike shoes.
Yeah.
The first thing is that they're unaware. Okay, so like I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And then it's problem aware. So problems come before anything else.
Better.
So like you have to have a problem in order to then have a desired solution.
Okay.
So like in the timeline of human, you have a problem first.
Yeah.
Right? Like the problem is I can't walk and I want to get over there.
Okay.
Right? I want to get over there, I can't walk. I need to figure out a solution for that.
Yeah.
Right? I have to crawl. Right? Then it's like I want to get there faster, I want to run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we understand. So then it's problem aware. So most marketing is designed to let people know they have a problem in which they didn't know they had. Like with Crown Money, for example, it's like you're actually, so when you get a mortgage, right? You know, you do a 30-year mortgage. Let's say you buy a house for 600K. After that 30 years, you're actually going to spend like 1.1 mil.
You're gonna pay double what the loan is.
Exactly. Whereas with Crown Money, they help you pay it off in 10 years. You're going to pay 800K.
Yeah.
So you're saving $300,000, and like you're going to actually own your home, right? So it's like the first thing they're going to do is make them problem aware.
Yeah.
So like the problem is that you're paying way too much in interest, and that you think the rate matters.
Yeah.
When really it's about the time that you have your loan, right? So it's like, okay, cool. So we're making people problem aware, right? Then they become solution aware, right? So it's like, oh, sweet. Like I can actually pay my house off, pay less for it, and have it done in 10 years and actually have some financial freedom and some stability, and not just be renting off a bank forever, right? Sweet. All right, cool. Then you've got brand aware, right? It's like you're probably unlikely to buy a brand of shoes that you've never heard of because you won't have trust in it,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Like you might take a punt if it's super cheap, but like if it has the Nike tag on it, you're like, you have a level of quality.
Yeah.
Like I understand what it is, right? Then you have product aware, right? So, or like, you know, product, it doesn't matter. It's just called product aware, right? So you're like, my feet hurt. Do you know what I mean? I need better shoes. I want Nike shoes. I want the Nike XYZs.
Yeah.
Right? So like that's the stage. And then that enables a transition of MQL to SQL, which is marketing qualified lead to sales qualified lead. And then when you have a setter system like this, right, you can push this transition up further, right? So like basically for Crown, it's like we're stopping here, and then you're having a sort of setter takeover and sort of doing this component, right? And then the closer is doing like, is sort of like facilitating the getting in the detail of this, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So it's like you're going to give them a call, and then you're going to qualify them because they're very early state. It's just where they have a problem, but they might not be a good fit for Crown.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And so it's like that we have to go, okay, like what's the fit, you know? And then you'll be given that specifically by the manager, Mike.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, hey, this is who our clientele is. this is what you need to like ensure. And then if they tick those boxes, your job is to get them to the next stage.
Yep.
Okay. And so they opt in. The reason why they're opting in is because we have shown them through advertising that the problems that we're exposing them to problems either do know they have and want to fix, or we're exposing them to a new problem they didn't even know they had, and they're like, holy shit, how do I fix this problem that I didn't know I had?
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? And then like you go through the marketing, and I can show you how to do that, but you want to sort of go through the marketing
Yeah.
because you want to have a good understanding of how people are coming in, because that will tell you a lot about the prospect.
Okay.
You know, if you're selling things in an adventure store, like the person comes in wearing all adventure gear, driving a fucking Jeep.
Yeah, and
You
you
know-
got brand recognition as
Yeah.
one of.
And you know that you can talk to that person in a particular way.
Yeah.
But if someone comes in a fucking minivan and flip flops,
Yeah.
like that, you don't have any idea if that person has any level of like prowess around camping or whatever. So you have to approach it a little bit different, you know. And that's kind of like people don't realize that, and they try and treat everyone the exact same, and they get surprised when like an identical script doesn't work across the board. Right?
Yeah.
And marketing will produce consistency because, like, if I say to you, like, "Oh, why is that important to you now, though?" Okay, you will most likely give me a time frame based response. Okay, because I paused and emphasized now. If I go like, "Why is that important to you now, though?" You're gonna give me whatever the tangible we just spoke about. You're gonna give me an answer referencing that.
Okay.
Okay, then the now is gonna be an afterthought because I said it quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so it takes away importance, right? So like marketing is using the same headlines, the same copy, same colors, and so it produces a predictable amount, a predictable person.
Mhm. Okay.
So like the variance that you get is relatively little,
Yeah.
right? But there's going to be a variance. That
Yeah.
matters,
Okay.
okay.
So your customer profile is a little bit more specific as opposed to
It
yours.
is
Yeah.
exactly because we're not like an open shop where anyone can just come in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's more like it's more of a destination shop.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool. What the fuck? I signed up for a free trial as a random hangout. Cool. Yeah, I'm teaching this guy to sell. He's never sold anything before. So
Right.
yeah, you guys are watching along because fucking why not? Okay. Alrighty. I do live hangouts all the time. Just saying it. All right. Cool. So we got that. Okay. Then from there, what's up? Hey. Good.
What are you?
Live streaming and teaching him sales.
Sorry? Carrying a lot.
Just be
I
like,
didn't know you were coming.
just being awesome.
Good as it
Yeah.
can.
Sweet as. Okay. So then they opt in. All right. Want to go through that process? Show how to do that. And then you call the agent. Sorry. Then like they give name, phone number, email. Agent calls. Then we book your calendar. Right. So like this is what we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to give you that backstory because it is very important for you to have like the people who don't know that they end up kind of like sounding semi-retarded when they're on the phone. Because like again, imagine you look at that analogy of like the different shops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're treating everyone the same way and they look totally, you know what I mean? It's just sort of like it doesn't make any sense. Like that greeting needs to be somewhat specific to the individual, right?
If you don't quite understand how the ecosystem works, yeah.
Exactly. Like the reason why like a shopping center, it's like you're drawing people in and then you're sending them out to the individual shops, right? And so that they get to kind of pick and choose. But like if it's a destination store, it's a different intent.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. And it's the same with like active marketing versus like what I do, for example, is like I don't run any paid ads. And so like people are just coming in from everywhere, but it's all based through content, and so like they've seen a bit of content from everywhere. And so again, that's a slightly different thing. But with what we're dealing with, it's that, right? And so we're going to have like a much narrower bandwidth of type of person, but there's still going to be some variances in there. But as they change marketing over time, and if they launch something new, you have to sort of do the same process of going back through because it's a different person.
Okay.
Right? So different problems speak to different people.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. Okay? Okay. Now, when it comes to being a really effective outbound like agent, right? So you're going to have leads coming through. Okay? So I'm going to go through the basic metrics and then we can go through how they work. Okay? So first and foremost, like as if you want to be a top 1% sales rep, 8 hours a day worth of work and you'll do it.
Okay.
Right? Like work a full-time job and you'll win. Right? So like, and when I say 8 hours a day, right, which is like 9 to 5, right? there's ways to game this, because 9 to 5 won't be super effective, right? Like all the time. Like you have to sort of do things a little bit differently. But it's like I want to break down my day, right? And then every part of my day is how am I facilitating and progressing sales. So that's the only job.
Yeah.
Right. So you being a setter, but what you're doing is you are the alley-oop man. Boom, boom, boom. Right. And you're throwing as many fucking things towards the hoop.
Yeah.
And then people slam them in.
Yeah.
A good setter is worth his weight in gold. Right. Like it's a big, and also like a good setter with a good closer team, you can outdoor boys? I don't know. No, I don't know if fucking outdoor boys is. Sounds like a good looking rooster though. Anyway, so like yeah, so with a good team you can make a lot of money, because like if you're setting them up and then knocking them down,
Yeah.
like you're gonna get paid, sometimes like the layer stuff, with like when Geos are closing shit, right?
Like a Jordan is a Scottie Pippen.
Exactly. Yeah, and typically ain't easy.
Oh, no, not at all.
Hey,
Not at all.
yeah. Right? So and most reps work 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? They're just like nobody like when they were a kid, nobody was like in the school, right? Going like, what do you want to be for when you grow up? And everyone's like, oh, I'll be a sales rep.
Yeah.
Right? Like we all just ended up here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For better or for worse. But the cool thing about it is it's a skill set that once developed opens up to tremendous amounts of opportunity, because there is no, it's like if you are an NBA level player, you will be in the NBA. Right? And NBA stands for never broke again. Right?
It's a good place to be.
Okay. So like it is a license to print money
Yeah.
when done well. The problem is most people suck at it, but it's because like they sort of don't know how to get better. All right. And it's like if you're good at anything in particular, like you have to apply the same. Like, is there anything that you're good at in particular?
I think I'd say that I'm like I can be fairly persuasive.
No, I mean like tennis or
Yeah, I like playing chess.
Okay, what's your elo?
My elo, it's not that great. It's probably like 1500 on.
That's still very good,
There, yeah.
right? That's the top like 5% chess player,
Yeah.
right? So like, now how did you get good at chess?
I essentially went over the individual positions, memorized the positions.
Okay, but that's how you do it with sales.
Yeah.
And everything else in life,
Yeah.
right? Like if you want to be a good shot, it's the same shit, right? So that's why I like to ask that question, because if you figured out how to become good at something, that's a skill set like that you've acquired, the exact same thing will work with sales, right? And so, but I can shortcut what you can need to work on and all that kind of stuff, right? Because like it's like the first thing you do is you learn like openings, right?
Yeah.
Because if you can master openings, then you have a consistent and predictable position 10 moves in. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, now I have to think about middle game strategy. Now I have to go through end game strategy, right? So it's the same thing. Like your opener in your outbound will dictate your day's success. So like first is pickup to conversation. Okay? It's incredibly important. Pick up to conversation. So the ideal, I want about 80%. And this is pure skill set. And I'll give you an example. If I go like, oh, hey, Chad, this is just Matt from Crown Money, buddy. How are you? Right? If I go, hey, Chad, this is Matt from Crown. How are you? If I go, hey, Chad, this is Matt from Crown Money. How are you, buddy? Right? Like they're totally different, but they're written the same on the piece of paper.
Yeah.
Okay? And the answer, like, it's sort of like you need to pick which one you do, and then you do it the same way. Like if you're really good at playing the Scotch, just play the fucking Scotch.
Yeah.
Right? And then like that will get you so far, and then you have to obviously get better at multiple openings, but you will become better at overall chess faster if you can create consistency in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's the same thing with that, because what you don't want to be doing is like making subjective. A lot of people would teach like, hey, like if they're an A-type, do this. It's like, mate, good fucking luck, like trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
So quickly.
And then when you're outbounding people, like you're interrupting their day. So the big things are you have to sound happy, right? And I don't mean like overly enthusiastic, but happy. And you have to sound like you enjoy your job and that you're confident. So it's like, hey, Chad, it's just Matt from Crown Money, buddy. How are you? Yeah, good, man. Hey, it looks like you'd opted in about, reducing your mortgage payouts a little bit quicker. Is that right? Yeah, sweet, dude. How can I help?
Yeah.
Right? Like, That sounds easy, but it's like, being able to replicate that identically, because, if you're doing a chess opening, there is a very specific sequence that you have to do. And if you change that sequence order or you change anything, it's now a different opening and now you have different variables, right? So like that, it's the exact same with human behavior in sales, and communication is identical to that.
Yeah, okay.
So if I'm going, hey, how are you? Versus, hey, how are you? Those are very different.
Different inflections.
Okay. Yeah. So like that intonation that you use decides how the person perceives it. And we will, as humans, perceive things relatively similar, right? In Western society. You asked me to go teach sales to a Chinaman,
Yeah.
right? Right? I could be like, I'm half.
You speak Chinese?
No, but like, I don't even know if they go an upward inflection for a question.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a totally
It's different.
What does a pause mean? Because in Western society, a pause denotes importance, right? So if I say just, it removes importance. So hey, it's just Matt. Now, what does that do? It breeds familiarity. You're supposed to know who I am. It's just Matt, right? Or if I go, hey, it's Matt, it's different, And so like all these little things, like with sales, that's why it's like if you can like stick to the script, like scripting is really important. And then you get your pick up to conversation, right? And you're aiming for like 80. Now you're not going to get there for a while, but it's, same as chess, right? You might get 40 and then you're like, okay, cool. And then we sit back, we listen to a few calls, right? Like if I'm trying to make you better at shooting and I can see that you're using a different finger for pulling the trigger every time.
Yeah.
My advice is let's just use the same finger, but right?
Okay.
So, and then it's like, because the variables that you're causing are a result of that. And so it's like any advice that we give downstream from that is likely inaccurate.
Okay.
Because we're not,
No consistency.
there's no consistency in the opening, right? Sweet. So that's number one. So we want to get consistency. And even if you're doing something not amazing, but it's consistent, like we're pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
Because your execution and decision making will get better over time, but we want to eliminate variables.
Yeah.
Right? So pick up the conversation. That's one big one. The other one is going to be, and then you've got conversation to like booking essentially. And a conversation is like sort of 60 seconds plus. And what you'll find, the reason why I do that is because like if someone says, oh, hey, I'm busy, can you call me back later? They're not busy. They hate you. Right? Right? Because like, when was the last time you were super busy? Like you had 3 things on the go and you're in a meeting and unknown phone number calls. And you're like, I guess I'll just pick that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Now I'm bothered.
Yeah, right? Like you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So we have to go, okay, something I said
Yeah.
has caused that. Now there are red herrings and, you could give out $1,000 in the street and someone's going to be like, well, isn't it 5? Right? But like you then don't, there's no pattern from there. Right? Like, yeah. And then we've got conversation to booking, right? The conversation to booking is going to tell me how well are you able to establish their problems, right? And sort of like keep the conversation going, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? And there's going to be like, because you're like, a lot of the time what will happen when you first start is you'll be like, people will ask you something and you'll go, and then they'll be like, click.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you got to give me money and I'm shaking when I take it, you don't.
Yeah.
You
It
don't.
doesn't even breed confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like you're going to have to be okay with that being shit.
Yeah.
To begin with, which is fine. Like it's totally normal. And that's why like the way that we give you the leads it'll act
Yeah.
for that. Right. And then from there, we want to have like a show rate, right? Okay. So, when you're going to send someone, you're going to book it in their diary, yada, yada, yada. And there's a sequence that I'll teach you of like how to kind of like lock that in. However, like what we want to do is at the end of every day, the last thing you do before you kind of sign off is you have a look at all the bookings that you made for the following day and you want to confirm them all.
Okay.
Right. And you want to because people forget, things happen, they move. Right. And these are all reasonable things that happen. But what we don't want to do is book out a 90-minute with somebody. Now the closer should be doing some of this too, but what closers are lazy as fuck. Right. So like they just won't do it. Right. You know what I mean? So, but you get paid on shows.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So like we want them to show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so you look at that as like, at the end of the day, how much money can I make tomorrow because I did my hard work today to book the people. Now let me just confirm this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like being in that communication with people, right? Is a little constant, right? So, and that will just breed really good habits for when you want to eventually kind of move on and go to full sales.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you're sure you want to have like a 75%.
So am I booking? I'm calling them for the bookings that I've made today, or that will be tomorrow.
That will be tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
So you're like, oh, hey, remember,
Because otherwise
you
it's
got,
no- yeah.
yeah, you got to
Okay.
call tomorrow. Do change it, anything happening, everything good to go.
Okay.
Right. So like this is, it's just really good practice. Like the closers should be doing it, but the odds they do is pretty low.
Yeah.
Like for example, like when I'm a closer, like I remember I went onto an account once and like the whole team had like a 30% share rate. And this is just from ads straight to onto their calendar.
Yeah.
I had a 90. Just because every day I called them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, that was the only reason they just didn't do it. You know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense.
All right. So these are important. Like, and I do these ones because these are skill based.
Okay.
These are skill based stats. Pick up to conversation over 60 seconds, like 80%. You know what I mean? So like if we're in the 20s, we know that the opener is not solid and we need to just work on that. So like this could be crap. This could be crap. But like it doesn't matter because until we fix that, it like nothing else matters.
Yeah. It doesn't. There's the flow
Right?
effective.
Yeah. So we singularly focus on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like if we try and go, well, let's improve a little here, a little here, a little here, we actually don't know that we can do that.
Okay.
So we just pick one and then we see, because it's a funnel, right? It's like from 100 people to 80 people to 70 to 60, yada, 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 right? So it's like we want to have these clear delineations and then we go, this is the area that sucks the most. Let's fix that. Knowing that the higher up the funnel
Yeah.
you make a change, the more profound it is
Fuck.
to the overall numbers, right? And so, like, if this isn't locked in, there is no point doing anything. So we want to, if this is like a 20, we don't work on anything else until that's at least 65,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And then it's like, cool, now it's 65, and now, because you're going to naturally get better at the entire process just by doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but that's such low-hanging fruit,
Yeah.
right? And then from there, once everything's at like a consistent level, then you can bounce around and go like, okay, well, there's these sort of 6 things that we can fix. Which one do we think is causing the most amount of issues? And then you can just try and make small tweaks along the way,
Okay.
right? But you can get good at this quickly
Yeah.
by doing it this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, it's sort of like the guys who play chess and just play.
Just don't blunder the opening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
man, if you just don't make a blunder, you'll get
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah. It's okay.
You know what I mean? So, all right, sweet. Okay, so those are all really skill based. Then the next ones are like is like pickup rate. So the pickup rate is the actual people who pick up. Right now, there's no skill on that. Like you'll be on my dialer on my software, which has the highest pickup rates in the game. But like the time of day that you decide to call will play a large role in the efficacy of it, right? So generally speaking, like, and the easiest way is like literally just track the rate per hour on like a piece of paper.
Okay.
And then if you do that for like a week, I'll give you the spreadsheet. It's in there actually, in the school group in the trackers.
Okay.
But it's like if you're looking at like, for example, if you're selling mums, right? They're not picking up at 3 p.m.
Yeah. They're picking their kids. Like,
Exactly. Right. So like if, which is why you kind of want to like do it for like good chunks at a time. Traditionally speaking, 9 to 11 and like 4 to 7 are your best hours.
Okay.
Right. And that's like that's lead time.
Yeah.
So like, so if you start dialing at like 9 a.m. Sydney, you dial to 11, then what will happen is you'll start picking up South Australia and you'll start picking up like WA.
Yeah.
Right. So you could dial pretty much the whole day. Right. But again, there are less people in those areas. So to be a little more sporadic. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like, but that 9 to 11 is a really good spot. Maybe it's 9 to 12 or yeah, and then 4 to 7. It's just when people pick up the best. What you do is you just sort of like dial and then you just track it per hour over the course of like a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Right. And then you even have a look at it by day. And you're like, okay, cool. Like I know that like, for example, Monday morning is amazing. Friday afternoon is terrible.
Yeah.
Like for example, right? That might be the case, that might not. And then from there, you can start to heat map your calendar. I can show you how to do that. And like what I do is I literally like I'll just bring my calendar up, right? And then like I'll have a block of time, and then what I would do is change the color based off the actual, like that was a red, it was bad, right? It was yellow, it was good, it was like decent, and green is like okay, it was a 15% plus pickup rate for that 2 hour block.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? In the dialer would just show that to you. Like you'll have these stats anyway. But like I can show you how to like actually, go through it because you want to kind of track it yourself. And then from there you'll have a look and you'll go, okay, Mike, like, the manager, and go, I've tracked it over the course of a few weeks. These are the hours that makes the most amount of sense to dial.
Yeah.
Outside of those times, doesn't make a ton of sense.
Mhm.
So in those times, I want to do this. So I'm going to do like, like that might be when you go to the gym, you eat, and then like you do CRM farming.
What is CRM?
Like, you go into the HubSpot because they use HubSpot,
Yeah.
and you go like, I'm going to go through, like I can show you like a document to follow, but essentially like there's a lot of pools of areas where people like where leads are available, right? So the first is like no sales, right? These are people who were pitched and didn't buy.
Yeah.
So you might call and see if they're in the same position,
Yeah. Okay.
right? Just fucking lay down city in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like if like HubSpot is the CRM, if you learn, I always say, he who learns the CRM best wins,
Yes. In the Bible.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like if you learn the CRM, you will find deals that are literally fucking begging, right? That are begging to buy, that some rep who left a year ago who sucked and it just never got picked up,
Okay.
right? And with these ones especially, like we have how much they owed on their mortgage, and they call me a year later.
Mhm.
Hey, you've only paid off $5,000 in a year.
Yeah.
What's happening, champ?
Yeah.
Right? According to our numbers, you would have paid off, this much by now. Like, what's going on? Do you want to have another chat about this or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we probably should.
The
Cool.
opportunity.
I'll book you in there.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, like, so you got no sales, right? Then you've also just got like no contacts because the leads are kind of pumping in, and I think Crown's dialer pickup is like retarded, right? Like it's really, really high. And they don't do like a ton of dialing, but yeah, like they're speaking to half of all the leads, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if I have a look at like their new leads as they come in, see, this tells me everything I need to know. Yeah, they just started dialing now, but it's like about say 17 to 18% of all leads, right? Of all dials pick up. So 1 in 5, which is crazy.
Yeah.
On most systems, you're like 1 in 20, 1 in 30, right? So like there's a lot of people in the system because it's a long sales cycle who like just never got contacted. Yeah, I mean, there might be like 25% of all leads if they're generating a couple thousand leads a month. You know what I mean? It's probably 10,000 leads that never got touched.
Yeah.
Even though, like, it's just because they were generating more leads than they needed,
Yeah. Okay.
right? So you've got the no contacts, right? And then you've got like no shows,
Mhm.
right? People who booked but didn't show up for whatever reason. People always assume it's malicious. It's probably not.
They're just probably busy or maybe forgot.
Yeah, the best way that you can be in sales is assume that like so this helped me tremendously with sales because people see sales as rejection. I don't see it that way. Like when someone says no, first they're not saying no to me, they're saying no to the product, and I'm not the product, right? Except in this case, when I'm the product. How dare you guys fucking cancel your trials, right? You're dead to me.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
No, I'm just kidding. But like first of all, like I don't know what's best for somebody, so I don't get frustrated.
Yeah.
Because like you're looking at someone's life through a keyhole, right? Like, and after a 45-minute conversation, like I think that I can pass judgment on that person, know what's best. Like only one person that can pass judgment.
BJC.
Exactly, BJC, right? So like I just kind of I default to that, and I go like I'm not the one who can pass judgment on this person, and so that like alleviates frustration from me. And frustration is an extremely difficult emotion to hide.
Mm.
Right? So like because someone will go like yes, 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 no, and you're like, well, what's happening here? Right? Like you said, you need it, you want it, this is a good idea, and you don't want to do it. Like what's going on here? This is making sense to me. And then it like ego kicks in, right? And so it's just a good idea to kind of like chill with that. You know what I mean? And then like from an outbound capacity, like it's it's just like you're interrupting their day, and then like you just want to give people grace, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then like with no shows, everyone assumes it's like, oh, you've stuffed me around, you've taken up my time. My dad gave me one of the best pieces of advice. I remember I was driving with him, and some guy cut me off, and I was like, yeah, fuck, well, you know what I mean, doing the whole thing, right? A little bit of road rage, right? And he goes, why are you so angry? I was like, he cut me off, and he goes, you think he cut you off?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, man, he doesn't know what you're driving.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, no, that's a good point. So like, I'm not significant enough for them to have the capacity or capability. And I was like, well, yeah. And he goes, man, he doesn't know what you're driving.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, no, that's a good point. He goes, man, he doesn't know what you're driving.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, no, that's a good point. So like, I'm not significant enough for them to have the capacity or capability to fuck me around.
Yeah.
Because to fuck someone around, you have to do it to them, but you don't exist.
Mm-mm.
Right? Like,
Yeah. You just
like if I step on an anthill, I didn't, there was no intentional act.
Yeah.
Right? I killed a few ants. There's no malice or intention or forethought. It's just happenstance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sucks for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, you know, like being like angry at the person that did it when like there's no way they could know. Like it's not personal.
And it doesn't really benefit you spending your energy there, really.
Exactly, right? So I think like when you're like, that's why I just assume that no-showed because like they forgot. And I've done that so many times. Like I booked sales calls and forgot. I had a tattoo today. I totally forgot about it. No shirt. I sent the guy $500. I was like, I'm sorry, piece of shit. I totally forgot. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And so like it's not malicious in any way.
It's not personal.
Exactly. So like, you know, that really helped me. Okay. You got your no shows, your no sales, your no contacts, and then you've got people who like got stuck in the process, right? So most, you know, especially this sale, there's like a logistical process that has to be done, right, in order to do it. And so, you know, they have to go from an outbound call to like usually a call 1, then a call 2. Then they have to do like docs, like financial docs. Then they have to apply, then they have to settle.
Yeah.
Right? And like contract signed. So like they can get stuck at any one of these spots. And sometimes it's like, especially with like refining mortgages or like anything that's somewhat complex, like it's just a bit of a, it's just like sometimes it can be overwhelming even if you know it's in your best interest.
Yeah.
Right. And so you just get stuck in the process because it seems like it's too hard. Whereas if someone's like, hey man, let's just hop on Zoom for 30 minutes, I'm going to do everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, sweet. Because like they've done their fact find, they've signed their stuff.
To help right there.
Yeah. And it's like, we just got to bump them over. You know what I mean? And like you find that stuff in the CRM and it just makes life a hell of a lot easier. Right. Okay. So there's pickup rate, you know what I mean? You know, that's what they went through. And so it's like, once you kind of find like, you know, for like first things first, it's like we want to memorize the script, for example, right? So number 1, memorize. Okay. The reason why we do that is, again, you're opening in chess, right? We need to memorize it because you don't have to think about what you're going to do. You can just think about what they're doing so you can do the correct move for the opening.
Yeah.
That's why if someone knows 50 moves of theory, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll let you take them out of theory, but at that point, they probably know.
But it's hard because like there's a lot of variations. Someone's really studied. Do you ever watch Will, like he's a little British guy at chess? Will, I don't know, but there's one thing, there's one gambit and he knows like literally every variation that exists. He knows this gambit, and if someone accepts the gambit,
it's over.
He's winning, right? Because he knows every possible situation that can happen.
Yeah.
And he has like a 92% win rate.
Yeah, that's kind of how the win rate works. Even if it's objectively not good, if you're able to understand more, you can just crush it.
Yeah. So like, you know, that's where if you're memorizing your script, you can listen to what they're saying instead of thinking about what you're going to say, right? And so like it's such a huge thing because you can then sit back, you can then fall back and you can listen to what they're saying, because the things that you can't script in sales are probes and clarifies. Like, why is that? How so? What do you mean? You know, and these are things that bring people deeper into things.
Yeah.
So they're persuasive tools to if you say something that really benefits like the outcome what I want, like if you're like, oh yeah, like, you know, like yeah, that sounds really good. Oh, why is that?
Okay. Trying to
Right?
get the update. Or
Yeah, exactly. So that now it really solidifies your idea much deeper, right? And so, but you can't do any of that if you're having an active dialogue in your head about what you're going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Because I'd imagine it's so specific to circumstance that if, as you say, if you're worrying about what you're saying next rather than focusing on how it's going to benefit you, it's
Number one is you just memorize those scripts, and then from there, number two is like, is you focus on the opener.
Yep.
The way that I sort of did that is like, I have a way of writing in sales. So like I use bold, I use ellipses, right? So if I'm going to pause, right? And so like we'll write that out together. So like I have a module in the school, which goes to like in the tonality bit, which is how to do that. But like essentially it's like if I want to emphasize a word, I bold it. If I want to pause before or after, I use ellipses.
Yeah, okay.
Right? If I want to like talk slower, I'll like space it out more. If I want to talk faster, I go with italics.
Okay.
Right? Because like if you think of like if I say a sentence and this is like the speed, if I do that, it's all the same. Right? If I'm doing like that, like what I'm doing is I'm like, I visualize myself like slippery dipping. So why is that important to know that? Right? You know what I mean? Like sort of like the PDS statements at the end of an ad.
Okay.
They're saying it faster. Why? Because I want to draw attention away from it. Right? If I want to speak slowly and I want to pace it out and draw it out, then I'm going to like put like, I'm going to write, so why, you know what I mean? Make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's just cueing me to speak slower. Because if I say something slowly and if I pause, it makes it feel more important.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but if I'm talking really quickly, and if I talk really quickly as a default, it's very difficult for me to then, like, if I'm doing that all the time, it's really difficult for me to know anything is important or anything is not important.
Yeah, okay.
And so this is my teaching pace. It's much slower than my normal speaking pace because I need to make sure that you can understand, right? And then like I can emphasize certain points to tell you what I think is the most important thing to grab out of it. And I do that through like intentional communication thing, right? And that's just all sales is, right? So we focus on the openers. So we write it out so that we can just have it plastered there. And you just basically, then what you do is you like record yourself doing it, send it to me.
Yep.
And go, does it sound retarded? And I'll go, say it like this. And you go, sweet, try that. And then you just literally practice because the cool thing is like, when someone picks up the phone, you're the first person to talk. So what you say is the same every time. So you're white every time.
Yeah, okay, nice. You've got a winning advantage.
Yeah.
Speak.
So you're white, you know what I mean? Chess, I know we're white. It's a winning advantage anyway.
Yeah.
Power! But yeah, so like, you know, you again, like you do have the advantage and they don't know they're playing. Right? So
you get to set the tone of...
Yeah, you're having an active and intentional conversation and they're having a conversation. Right? So you can steer it very easily. Bush did do 9/11. You're right. Good call. I had almost forgotten that. Oh my goodness. Yes, you can. Yes. The point is though, you start with white. White always has the advantage. So when you're doing outbound, you're the first person to speak. Therefore, you are always the white. So it's like you have the advantage. Okay. All right. Sweet. So focus on the opener. 3 is then like is basically like it's process, right? Which is your schedule and setting up for success. So like that's where we go through. We have a look at structure in the day, and it's gonna be a guest to begin with. So we go like, hey, listen, let's dial from these times because you don't want to dial. If you dial for 8 hours straight, your brain will melt, and by the end of the day, you're gonna go, huh? Like, and you're gonna speak to a good lead, and you're just not gonna have a good interaction because like
It's gonna fold.
Yeah, well, it's like when you have to think about it because initially you're gonna have to think about it. There's a lot of brain power going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you first learn to drive, and
you've just got to do it in doses.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so it's like we pick like 90-minute blocks, right? You can come here, dial.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And then like, all right, cool. I gotta fucking take a break. You know what I mean? And then like get back into it. And then what you do is you have like a little recharge for a second, and then you might do a couple of like CRM activities.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're like, all right, cool, to go back into dialing, and then do it that way because like, you know, you have to like you have to sleep, you have to train, you have to eat well because it's just a lot of brain power going on because it's solving puzzles in real time all the time,
Yeah.
you know?
That's what I
And it's
like.
not like it's really difficult, but it's new and it's dynamic, you know? And, you know, that's why we try and like reduce the variables as much as we can when it comes to the development of sales.
Yeah.
Instead of going like me get good at sales, it's like going to a gym and go me get strong. It's like, well, how, mate? You know what I mean? Like,
Do a different exercise.
yeah, like, you know, and there's specificity. Like if you're going to get strong, you're okay with getting fat because you got to overeat. You know what I mean? You can't try and get lean and get strong. It doesn't work that way. Right. So, you know, but the first things first is like, we just need to memorize scripts. Right. And do you get sentence script on Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Like, so like how I did it is I literally just like, I printed it out a lot and then I would like write it out as well. And then I think it's good to like same as like say like Bible study, right? You can know the what, like you could recite the verse, but knowing the why and the context is really important, and it helps you create a deeper understanding to actually like then apply the knowledge, right? So when you look at a script and you know you have to like the opening line, you go, okay, cool. Like first of all, why is it written like this? So I asked myself the question, what does each word do? You know what I mean? Because it is a script. So if you look at like the script of a movie, there shouldn't be like everything is to do something.
It's all calculated to deliver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And which is why if you learn slang from me, which you are, which is great, you know how many bad habits. It's like a lot of salespeople will, if someone says, oh yeah, that sounds like I'd love to lose weight. And they go, oh, well, weight loss can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. When you say weight loss, like, what do you mean by that? Like that's extraneous bullshit. We just go, oh, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Right? So like you would look at the sentence written out and go, that seems like an awful lot of things to say this. Why is that?
Yeah.
Right? Right? You know?
Yeah.
That can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. When you say that, what do you mean? Why is that? You're like, well, I'll just take those two words and I'll fuck the rest off. Right? Because like saying all of these correctly is difficult. Saying these two correctly, oh, why is that? Is really easy.
Yes.
Right? So like you're just removing difficulties.
Yeah.
You know? And then this done correctly creates an 80% likelihood of this answer. Right? Because we're all human beings and that's just kind of how we work. So now I'm in the future 80% of the time. So I know the opening and you don't.
Yeah.
Like I'm in theory for half an hour and you're not. Because like it is highly likely that you give one or maybe two different answers, but it's like 80-20 that you're going to give. And if you do something weird,
Yeah.
like it, whatever, man. You know what I mean? I don't need to learn the weirdest theory on the planet.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't benefit me that much. You know what I mean? So you end up then like what ends up happening is that it's 80 and then it's 19 and then it's 1%, right?
Mhm.
And then people get hung up on the one
Yeah.
and they make changes to their script to accommodate for that because that hurts their feelings.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And so it's like, well, no, we just cop that on the chin. We just go, hey, when someone brings their queen out, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever. You know what I mean? Just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right? Like, whatever, next game. But I'm still winning 80% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm 50-50 on the 19, and I just have to cop this because if I make changes, now it's like 70-22, and you know what I mean? Like it changes the variables. Now it's changing everything.
Yeah.
And I don't give a shit about the 1% thing,
Yeah. Okay.
which is hard to do.
Yeah. It's
Because-
being the exception to the law as the rule, and then it just ruins.
Yeah, that fucking snowballs, man. And that's why people get stuck in intermediate sales for a long time.
Okay.
Right? And it's because of that reason. They're making micro adjustments all of the time. And so it's like the discipline is like, I know this could be better,
Yeah.
but I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and then every single time you're learning something new, you're going to be set back because you're a little bit uncomfortable with what you're doing. And
Yeah, and there's an adaptation and a skill set required to do it. So the changes don't benefit you.
Yeah.
Whereas like over time, you'll just be more consistent in your application of what you're doing and you're going to get less variability anyway.
Okay.
Right. So it's like, I just got to give it some time.
Yeah.
Right. Take the script, dissect it. Why is it there? What does it do? What answers am I looking for? Right. And then it's like, cool, let's focus on the opener and then set up the diary for success. And in the meantime, we want to study the marketing of the business. Right. Which I'll go offline here and I'll show you how to do it.
Sweet.
Sweet. All right, guys, I thought that was helpful. Or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go offline because I'm not gonna talk about other people's marketing in front of you fucking people. All right, guys. Bye. Marketing of the business.
Take script. Set it. Ask questions. Focus on opener. Set up the diary for success. Study marketing. Nice.
And you know, you have to like the open of the question script. So
What does each word do? Yes. What does each word do? Okay. First time that I'm doing this shit, but it's a proof to myself and to anyone else that cares and watches this that I'm here. I'm doing shit for myself. Actually doing shit, like everyone can say yes, I'm studying sales, or yes, but who the fuck records and uploads it? YouTube is free for everyone. I got a camera and OBS, so yeah. See you in the next one. Bye. I'm so fucking proud of myself, man. I'm saying stuff and I'm actually doing them. Let's go.